All right, today we're talking about operations on functions. You remember function notation, hopefully. Remember f of x is a replacement for the variable y. So if I have an equation y equals 2x plus 3, I can rewrite that as f of x equals 2x plus 3. Remember, we can use nearly any letter in place of f. It doesn't only have to be f of x. I can use g of x, h of x, j of x, pretty much anything. There's only one that you can't use, and that's x of x. So now we're going to learn how to use operations on functions, and we're going to start with addition. So here I have three different functions, function f, function g, and function h. And we're going to add functions f and g. First thing you want to do is write down those two functions with a plus sign in between. And remember, addition is basically just combining like terms. So I can combine my two x terms together. 2x's plus 1 more x gives me 3x. And 4 plus negative 3 gives me a positive 1. And I'm done. So I can write f of x plus g of x equals 3x plus 1. What do you think f of x plus h of x would look like? How would that be different? Well, first of all, you're using two different functions, right? 2x plus 4 and 3x squared plus 7x. Remember to pay super close attention to the letters being used so that you can use the right function. Again, addition is just combining like terms. The 3x squared doesn't have a partner or doesn't have a like term, so it stands alone. I have 2 x's, adding 7 more x's for 9 x's total. And my constant 4 doesn't have another constant to combine with, so it stands alone. Let's try some subtraction. I have those same three functions, f, g, and h. Now it's asking me to take h of x and subtract g of x from it. Be really careful to pay attention to the order. Since h of x is listed first, I have to write h of x first. Now subtraction throws a little bit of a wrench into our problem here. I need to remember that I'm subtracting the entire function g. I'm not only subtracting the first term, I'm subtracting every term. So when you do subtraction, you want to do a little bit of distribution. I'm going to distribute the negative to the first term, x, which gives me negative x. And I'm going to distribute the negative to the negative 3. A double negative gives me a positive 3. Then I'm not going to pay attention to my second term up here. I'm going to pay attention to what I wrote after I distributed the negative. Now I can combine like terms. The 3x squared stands alone. I have 7 x's and I'm taking away one of those x's to leave me with 6 x's and a plus 3 on the end. So h of x minus g of x equals 3x squared plus 6x plus 3. Multiplication you've seen before, although it's been a while. Multiplication is basically just a big distribution problem. So let's try g of x times h of x. First thing you want to do every single time is write those two functions down. Remember, with distribution, I'm going to take every term in the first polynomial and multiply it to every term in the second polynomial. So I'm going to start with first term, first polynomial, which is this x right here. First, I'm going to multiply that to 3x squared. That gives me 3x to the third power. X times 7x gives me 7x squared. That takes care of just distributing the x, so now I need to distribute the negative 3. Negative 3 times 3x squared gives me negative 9x squared. Negative 3 times 7x gives me negative 21x. Now I can combine like terms to simplify, and I end up with 3x to the third minus 2x squared minus 21x. Division is pretty simple. I want to give you a phrase to write down and memorize. A fraction line is a division sign. Say it with me. A fraction line is a division sign. That needs to be memorized. That will definitely be on our quiz. So when I divide functions, I can simply write them as fractions. So here I have two new functions, f and g. If I'm asked to divide those two functions, I can simply write them as a fraction, simplify if I can, and I'm done. Just a quick note, notice how f of x was listed first. That becomes my numerator. G of x was listed last. That's your denominator. Writing them in the correct order is super important. One last thing, the notation in your book looks a little different than what I had here. F of x plus g of x in your book looks like f plus g of x. They are the same thing, it's just asking you to add functions f and g together. F of x minus g of x will look like f minus g of x. F of x times g of x looks like f times g of x. And same thing for division. Make sure to write down any questions that you have. Make extra sure that you've written down the examples in your notebook. We will be doing a notebook check, and we will have a quiz on this video first of the next class. Have a great day, and I will see you later.